Buried beneath a crumbling hillside in Eastern Europe lies a gravesite older than the pyramids, a Neolithic cemetery untouched for over 7,000 years. But now, this ancient site faces destruction from erosion, development, and time itself. Archaeologists have only days left to uncover the secrets hidden within. Who were these people? What rituals did they follow? And what can their bones, tools, and burial patterns tell us before this window into our ancient past is sealed forever? This isn't just a dig, it's a race against time. Discovery, a chance find that changed everything it began, as many great discoveries do, with an accident. In 2024, a farmer near the village of insert location noticed bone fragments poking out from a recent landslide on his property. Initially dismissed as animal remains, closer inspection by local archaeologists revealed something astonishing: a Neolithic cemetery, virtually untouched by time. Radiocarbon dating placed the site between 5200 and 4800 BCE, placing it in the late Neolithic period, a critical transitional time when humans were shifting from nomadic hunting and gathering to settled agricultural life. As archaeologists began careful excavation, they uncovered multiple human remains, carefully buried, often in fetal positions, and surrounded by artifacts. Who were these people? A window into the Neolithic soul. The Neolithic people buried here were part of what archaeologists believe to be an early agrarian society. They lived in small villages, cultivated crops like barley and wheat, and domesticated animals such as goats, sheep, and cattle. Their burial customs revealed a surprisingly advanced understanding of death and ritual. Some graves were lined with red ochre, a symbolic pigment often associated with blood, rebirth, and the afterlife. Others contained small figurines, pottery, and polished stone tools, perhaps meant to accompany the deceased into the next world. What's most astonishing is how individualized the graves appear. These weren't mass burials or anonymous tombs. Each person was carefully placed, suggesting they held social status, roles, or relationships that mattered even in death. Tools, artifacts, and daily life. Dozens of flint tools, axes, arrowheads, scrapers were uncovered, along with intricately made ceramic vessels. Some of the pottery features decorative motifs that seem to hold symbolic meanings. Were they clan markings? Spiritual symbols? Early writing? We don't know, yet. There were also beads and pendants made from bone, shell, and even imported obsidian, hinting at early trade networks stretching hundreds of kilometers. This site isn't just a burial ground, it's a time capsule of early society, showing us how people worked, traded, and honored their dead. One particularly stunning find: a small polished stone figurine of a woman, possibly a fertility symbol, buried beside an adult female skeleton. These details suggest deep cultural and spiritual beliefs. Genetics, disease, and ancient DNA scientists are now rushing to extract ancient DNA from the preserved bones and teeth. Preliminary analysis shows surprising results. These Neolithic individuals were genetically distinct from both earlier hunter-gatherers and later Indo-European populations. This supports the theory of a Neolithic migration, where early farmers from Anatolia spread into Europe and mixed with indigenous groups. But even more fascinating are the clues about disease. Dental analysis shows signs of malnutrition and early childhood stress, while some skulls exhibit healed injuries, possibly from interpersonal violence or accidents. These human stories, written in bone, paint a vivid picture of life 7,000 years ago. And they help us understand how we, modern humans, came to be. Why this site matters globally. There are thousands of archaeological sites around the world. So why does this one matter? Because it sits right at the cultural tipping point, the dawn of settled life. This gravesite offers a rare, pristine look at a society transitioning from wild to domesticated, from transient to permanent. It reveals how our ancestors began to organize, specialize, and develop complex belief systems. It's also one of the few untouched Neolithic burial grounds where we can still read the full stratigraphy, the layers of earth that record centuries of use, climate shifts, and human evolution. Losing this site means losing the ability to trace one of the earliest chapters in the human story. Threats to the site, erosion, development, and time is running out. The slope where this gravesite lies is being slowly destroyed by landslides and water erosion. Local developers are eyeing the land for construction. And even with excavation teams working daily, the site may not survive another winter. Every storm washes away millennia of data. Every collapsed wall means lost context. Archaeology isn't just about digging up bones, it's about understanding where and how things were found. Once that's lost, we can never fully reconstruct the story. A global call to action. Archaeologists are calling for immediate international support to preserve what remains. Digital mapping, 3D scans, and high-resolution imaging can save some information, but nothing replaces the real-time excavation of undisturbed burials. This isn't just a local issue, it's a global one. Sites like this belong to humanity, not just one country. The stories buried here are the stories of all of us. And unless we act, those stories will be lost forever. What can we learn before it's gone? If we can fully excavate and study this gravesite before it's lost, we may gain answers to questions still haunting archaeology. How did agriculture reshape human societies at the genetic, cultural, and spiritual level? What did Neolithic people believe about death, the afterlife, and their ancestors? Did they have a class system, gender roles, or early forms of leadership? How did diseases, diet, and violence affect early farmers? And how did these people give rise to the first civilizations? These are not abstract questions. They are the origin story of us, our beliefs, our conflicts, our biology. The bones buried here whisper a story older than written language, a story of survival, community, ritual, and belief. But their voices are fading, drowned by wind, rain, and silence. We have one last chance to listen, to learn, and to remember, before it's too late. Subscribe to Decoding History and Science, where we bring the ancient world back to life, one lost truth at a time.